Hey, boys and girls. Today we are going to be doing Module 3, Lesson 1, which is dividing by two-digit divisors. We've done some practice in the past of dividing with one-digit divisors. Today we're going to work on dividing with two-digit. So our I can statement for today says I can use strategies based on place value to divide 3- and 4-digit dividends by a two-digit divisor. So just as a reminder, in this example I have right here, 19 would be my divisor, and 610 would be my dividend. All right. So in the example that we have here using this, it says Lana makes clothes for her online store. She makes 19 shirts from a large roll of fabric. Each roll has 610 inches of fabric. How many inches of fabric from the roll does Lana use for each shirt? So it says to write a division problem to represent the situation and estimate the answer. Okay, so when we look at this problem of 600, and I'll write it over here, 610 divided by 19, okay, just like this, we like to estimate both of these numbers first. So I like to look at the first digit here and round to the neighbor. Okay, the 1 means we're rounding down, so this will become 600. Okay, and then we have 19, which rounds, if we do the same thing, look to the neighbor. Okay, that could round to 20. So then when we have 600 divided by 20, when we're dividing with multiples of 10 here, if there's zeros we can cross out. We cross out 1 from each of them. And then we have 60 divided by 2, which also could be known as 6 divided by 2 is 3. And then that 0 gets added on. So our answer should be somewhere around 30 for this problem. All right, so first thing up we have is 610 divided by 19 here. We want to know how many times 19 can it go into 6? No. So I usually put an X up top of the 6. And then I want to say 19 into 61. Now, we may not know our 19 times tables all that well, okay? But I usually like to, when I have an estimate, I see the 3 in the front. I usually like to try that one first. So I'm going to, on my paper somewhere, I'm going to try 19 times 3. Okay, so 19 times 3, I get a 7 here. Carry my 2, 3 plus times 1 is 3 plus 2 is 5. Okay, so the 3 does work here. So I'm going to put my 3 above the 1 in 61. That was divide. I multiplied 19 times 3 gives me 57. Okay, oops, let me undo that. It's 57. Okay, I subtract in this problem. Okay, the 6 becomes a 5. And the 1 becomes an 11. Okay, so then we have 11 minus 7 is 4. And there's nothing else there. So after I subtract, I bring down. We've gone over those steps before of divide, multiply, subtract, bring down. If you need to write them down somewhere, DMSBD, divide, multiply, subtract, bring down, make sure you do that to help you remember. All right, so after I bring down, I start the problem all over again, okay? So 19 goes into 40 how many times? Well, 3 was too much because that's 57, so I'll try 2. Usually what I like to do is I like to just erase sometimes when I'm running out of space, okay, and do the new problem, which would be 19 times 2, all right? But that's not always the best way. Sometimes if you have space, plenty of space, you could always just do the work somewhere else. But for me, on this problem, I really don't have very much space. So I'm just going to go ahead and erase that and try 19 times 2. Okay, so 19 times 2, 9 times 2 is 18. Carry my 1. 2 times 1 is 2, plus 1 is 3, so that would be perfect. All right, so that means the 2 goes up top. That was my dividing. Multiplied gave me 38. I subtract. Okay, so 40 minus 38 is just 2. And there's nothing else to bring down. So my answer here is 38 with a remainder of 2. Excuse me, that should be an R. Okay, remainder of 2. But now we need to look at this problem and understand what they're asking us first. Okay, so for part B, this is all just the steps for us to go through and to solve the problem. So when we get down here and we see that our answer is 32 remainder 2, it says to interpret your answer, then compare it to your estimate to determine if your answer is reasonable. Well, our answer was 32 with a remainder of 2. The question they're asking is how many inches of fabric from the roll does Lana use? She can't use a remainder, guys, in this problem. So the answer would be you use 32, okay, inches for each shirt. The remainder in this problem is how much is extra, how much is left over. We're not worried about how much is left over, and we will get to that in a later lesson. But this is an example of dividing by a 2-digit divisor where it's the same as dividing by the 1-digit. It's just a little bit bigger numbers that could scare us a little bit. So that's what I've got for you today. You can watch other videos that are going to be posted as well to see if you can maybe understand a little bit better. But these are the same types of problems you're going to see throughout the rest of these lessons. All right. Best of luck with your assignments today.